Good day, Tom Ginn. Elevate your profits. We will be right back. Good afternoon, Tom Ginn. My host and co-host, Mark Gassert, isn't available for today. So I'm picking up the reins here to elevate your profits. And wherever you're at today, just turn on your notifications, tag your friends, and share this out. The whole purpose of Elevate Your Profits is really to provide a platform and information and people that have bring different talents and skills to the small business person out there. And if you're aspiring entrepreneur, this program's for you. If you're already in business for yourself, hopefully the guests that we have on a regular basis, you can pull nuggets out to maybe improve or give you a new perspective of how to win in business. Our whole platform is to help people create more productive, successful enterprises. And that's where Elevate Your Profits. We work from everything from how we think about business, how we think about profits, all the way down to the resources you need to be successful. And today I'm really excited to bring in a guest that I had met through a networking event. And we had a couple of conversations, and what he shared with me, I said, this is quite relevant to the small business person out there. To know about what Joe brings to the table. So he's in California, and I'm going to bring in Joe Iovenitti. Are you ready, Joe? There you are. We are live. Well,
thank you, Tom, for inviting me to Elevate Your Profits.
Well, my pleasure. And what I like to do is just have you just share a little bit about your background, where you're from. I know you have a journey to where you're at today. I think it's important for people to hear people's stories and journeys, because a lot of times we think people grow up to be what they're doing in their passion in their current career. But I think that'd be important for people to know a little bit more about you personally. So I'm going to just turn it back over to you, Joe.
Okay. Well, I'm Joe Iovenitti, and I'm a geologist who in 2014 had my second major negative experience with an insurance company. And I decided at that point that the business community just didn't know what it didn't know. And I decided to focus in on the business community and help them increase their profits, have a better shot at being successful in the business world. I still do some geology work here and there, but my main focus is helping business owners and increase their profits, increase their cash flow, make them more profitable than what they're doing.
Well, Joe, you made a comment there. I think it's important. Sort of, I relate to this. You know, I had nearly 30 years in the financial services industry. I got involved in that industry from a bad experience myself. And that caused me to move to what I call a crusade or a purpose to help people better understand, individuals, how to win with money. That sort of sounds like the same situation. You had something negative, and you decided to pick up the mantle.
Yeah.
Could you share a little bit about that experience, what it was?
Okay, let me go into a little detail. My first negative experience was back around 2008. My girlfriend and I, at the time, had my 3-year-old grandson in a SUV, a Toyota 4Runner. And we were going to San Francisco to see the Blue Angels. And between where I live and San Francisco, there's a bridge we had to go over. And of course, it was all backed up. So I convinced my girlfriend, who was very reluctant, but I convinced her to drive through Oakland because I knew the back way. She did that. We're going through Oakland, and we go across a major intersection, and we get broadsided by a car going 75 miles an hour.
Oh, no.
I was in a Toyota 4Runner. It spun around, hit the car in the opposite lane, and wound up in the corner of a building at a 20-degree angle. That corner of a building was about 2 inches from my nose. And the only reason why I'm here today is I broke the passenger seat, probably when we were spinning around. So I was laying back. Fortunately, no one in my vehicle, nor in the Toyota Corolla that hit us going 75 miles an hour, which had 5 people in it and a 6-month-old child. And you know, a Corolla is pretty small. That child was not in the car seat. No one was injured. It was a miracle that no one was injured. The police, both the police and the fire department, were very surprised. There was I would say about 15 people witnessed the event, as well as 2 cars were following the car that was going 75 miles an hour. They thought maybe something was going on. Well, the insurance company told me that I was set a 50% liable for that accident. I go, how can I be 50% liable? The only way I can be 50% liable is that you're dinging me because I was there. So we have to go back and forth. We got that squared away. But, that set me on the course that insurance companies are not your friend. And then in 2014, I had my life insurance agent call me and tell me my life insurance policy was up. And I said, what do you mean it's up? You told me it was going to last forever. He went on to explain that the crash in 2008, 2009 affected my cash accumulation portion of my policy, and I was running out of money. And I turned around and I said, well, 2008, 2009? He goes, yeah. Why didn't you call me in 2010, 2011, 2012, so on and so forth, when we could have done something about this? And that's at the point where I decided that the business community didn't know what the business community doesn't know. And I got involved in business consulting. I learned about insurance, focused in on life. I help my business clients now with key man insurance, buy-sell agreements, a unique retirement plan. But I also got involved with business owner cost savings. We offer a multiple line of credit through a private equity firm for commercial projects, as well as we do some wealth preservation work in being able to defer capital gains tax at the time of the sale for highly appreciated assets.
Wow. So that experience of going through an accident and, the insurance company says you're 50% responsible for this event, and recognize, oh my gosh. And so you get started in business consulting and helping with, key man insurance, buy-sell agreements, and it's evolved over time. You filled in your portfolio of specific needs. You mentioned a couple things about deferring capital gains. Right. I think that's a big thing that people have a business, and unfortunately, a lot of businesses don't structure themselves to be sellable, but those that do, there's capital gains involved in businesses, right?
Certainly, and most business owners don't recognize what the tax consequences of selling their business. And it could be significant. So you always want to follow the tax code. You never want to do anything illegal, but there is a legal process accepted by the IRS where you could defer capital gains tax. We defer it for 30 years. And then you have to pay for it in the 31st year, and there's strategies on how to do that.
Yeah, so dealing with capital gains, that could be somebody maybe as a sole proprietor, brick and mortar, owns the building. They want to sell the building, move to a bigger building. Do you help them minimize?
Yes, Tom, we cover any asset sold except stocks sold through an exchange. And only other requirement is that it has to have a net sales proceeds of $500,000 or more.
Okay.
If both of those criteria are met, you're a candidate for deferring your capital gains tax for 30 years.
Okay. So, and you deal with, you said small to medium-sized business. That's, I think you shared with me before we got online, that's from around 5 employees to 750. 750 sounds like a big company, but relative to the size of other companies, that's still considered a medium-sized type business in our
Correct.
marketplace.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the business owner cost savings business line that I have. And that's where we focus on helping small and medium-sized businesses increase their cash flow. And we do that through a number of cost-saving approaches involving specialized tax incentives and business expense mitigation. Specialized tax incentives are such things as cost segregation, which is the accelerated depreciation of commercial property, R&D tax credits. If you're doing something innovative, doing something technical, you'll qualify. And hiring incentives. There are 2 types that we work with. The Work Opportunity Tax Credit, or WOTC. That's for people that you may hire to bring a tax credit to the business, as well as the Employee Retention Tax Credit, which is something that was put in place by the federal government because of COVID and the impact of COVID on our businesses. And that tax credit could be up to $26,000 for businesses that have been impacted by COVID through a government order to shut down, like a restaurant, for example. Or if you have a financial loss in one quarter relative to in 2020 or 2021 relative to that same quarter in 2019. Now, we also do business expense mitigation, which involves audits of select business vendors. We'll audit your credit card merchant, your work comp insurance carrier, property tax records, your waste and recycling vendor, and your shipping vendor. One unique things about the firm I work with is that we bundle all those cost savings into one process. I have friends that do cost segregation, for example, or R&D, or the employee retention credit. We do it all in one package to maximize the cost savings that we could bring to the table for a business owner. And something that I want to mention, saving $1 in business is far more important than making $1 in business. Because when you save $1, it goes right to the bottom line. When you make $1, that dollar doesn't go to the bottom line. That dollar pays for, your workers. It pays for your overhead. There's a big impact. There's usually 30 cents on the dollar goes to the bottom line if you're doing well.
That's an area from my expertise as well, that, small business people, they do what they do well, but all these other things like tax content, it's many times we turn to tax accountants or tax preparers, but many times they're not informed of all the different things that are coming as well. But the small business person are just trying to keep the doors open, try to keep the revenue going, and they don't have the time or the expertise. I can see the cost reduction is a very significant area that you can make an immediate impact with your consultations.
Yeah, typically for clients that I have, I'm able to save them somewhere between tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars in cost savings, which go directly to the bottom line.
Okay.
And
generally, that if you took a look at that bundle of services, what does that maybe equate to? Is that like a 5%, 10%, 20% savings across the board in any of those categories? What would you think that might equate to in a percentage? So I like to have people say, gee, I'm spending $10,000 on everything from credit card processing to all the other things that you mentioned.
Yeah.
If they can mind say, I'm spending $10,000. What percentage would you say is a reasonable amount?
I don't have a number for that. I can tell you that when I give a free consultation, we go through all the potential cost saving approaches that we have and what you may qualify for. And typically clients receive somewhere between 80 and 88% of that total amount. And we get somewhere between 12 and 20% of that total amount as our payment. We get paid when the cost savings are realized.
That's a great service because there's no risk on their side. You just have to demonstrate and prove that you can deliver for them. That's a great way to do business, earn the business on that. But I'm going to go back to what a lot of, I come from that industry. I'm more in a personal business, but I did deal with small businesses. The importance to have life insurance for buy-sell agreement. Many times you got a partner and your partner passes, you may not want to have his significant as new partner. So can you share a little bit what a lot of businesses don't look at, the value and purpose of having key man insurance or buy-sell agreement or life insurance to protect that asset? Could you just give some ideas there and why it's so important to look at those?
Well, yeah, you just said the key words. You want to protect that asset you have. That asset you have is the business. If if you have a partner and you don't have key man insurance in place, if your partner happens to pass, then you still have a business to run. You lost your partner, which is devastating. It could be devastating. You have a business to run, but you have to now run it all by yourself. And you may want to hire someone else, but you may not have the funds to do that. The key man insurance may help you be able to bridge that gap. Additionally, as Tom said, while you may get along very well with your partner and your partner's family, you may not want your partner's family as part of your business, being your business partner. Your partner is one thing. You've known them. They played a role. They had a particular skill set that was important for the business. That might not translate to the family. So you want to be protect your asset, protect your business by having an option on what to do should you lose your partner.
Yeah. And when we say key man, that's not just your partner. That could be key leadership, a management team, people that if you lost them because of a death like that, what's that asset? He's an asset. How do you protect that, right?
Yeah. Let me give you an example. I had a client who inherited a family business. He didn't want anything to do with the family business. He didn't know about the family business, but now it was his. And he was thinking, what is he going to do? Turns out that he had a general manager that knew everything about the business. And that person helped his father when the father ran the business. And obviously, you don't want to lose that general manager. So what we did is put a unique retirement plan in place for that general manager that was paid by the business. The business won, the general manager won, and he'll never leave because he has a retirement program that will provide tax-free income that they couldn't match anywhere else.
Yeah, so just besides the death benefit, those types of policies that have an asset building component to them.
Of course.
And they have all different names. I've been out of the industry for 20 some years. So there's been a lot of changes, and I know there's a lot of great savings, investment, tax benefits. So those policies, not only to protect the asset in the event that general manager or partner dies, but it's also an asset they take with them if they leave the business as a retirement program.
Correct.
Okay.
Insurance is another tool that we have in the business community and in our personal lives. In our personal lives, when my parents got insurance, when I got insurance for my family, it was to protect my family in case I died. Now, insurance has gone much further. Now there are things like living benefits, where you're protected for the family in case you die, but you're also protected for yourself in case you get sick, as well as you'll have a built-in retirement program with that insurance policy. So it fills a lot of roles in your financial portfolio. And I would strongly advise both businesses, any size business, small, medium, or large, as well as individuals consider life insurance as part of their financial assets in their own portfolios.
Okay. Because I saw it as individuals. I did see it in when I was in practice that most small businesses don't have those components in their business in their planning, and it's devastating.
It should be if you don't have the right protection in place.
Yeah. So, Joe, you're in California, the San Francisco Bay Area. Your reach in the type of client between 5 and 750. How far can you reach? Can you do business through any state or here in the States?
I can provide the business owner cost savings and the deferment of capital gains tax, as well as life insurance nationwide. I also have access to private equity, where we offer a multiple line of credit for any type of commercial project, either domestically or internationally. We'll look at any type of commercial project except cannabis. And we have a current interest rate of 3.5% for that line of credit.
I'm lining up. I'm having fun with that. But, a lot of things are, that's the small businesses. Many times that they look at now these traditional lines of credit or equity, are they?
No, this is a private equity group. So you're talking with a multi-billionaire who wants to help the business community.
Okay.
So the rules, he is associated with HSBC and Barclays. So and that's how he could offer his line of credit, because like any bank, he leverages the deposit that you put in to qualify for the line of credit 8 to 12 times and shares that win with the client.
Yeah, so this is an alternative to a lot of people look to their local bank, and there's certain criteria that they're looking for, and many times small business people don't check all the boxes they're looking for. So this gives a small owner different types of avenues, a little more flexibility than traditional financial services.
Additional financing from a bank, and also a much better interest rate. Now, I will point out that for our program, the minimum deposit is $1 million to qualify, and there's no upper limit on what we could loan. So people that are, we have clients, for example, in the energy space, hotel resorts, making movies, buying properties, any type of business can qualify for this line of credit.
Okay. That's good to know, because we have, a lot of small businesses, they rely on their small circle in their community. Sure. And I know they do provide great value, but they may need other resources that they're not aware. Like you said, many small businesses don't know what they don't know, right?
Yeah. And it's always good to check all the options you can, because you never know where one particular option you looked into is a much better fit for your particular set of circumstances than another. So don't feel that you have to be locked into the traditional approach. There are other approaches out there.
And with what you're doing, this overall package, do you have a team of people that maybe make sure that business is structured properly as maybe a LLC or an S corp or incorporated? Do you provide services in that area to make sure they're properly structured?
I don't provide services in those areas, but I do have colleagues. Like Tom, I met you in business networking. I'm in a number of business networking groups nationwide. So I have, for example, lawyers that I could tap into from coast to coast that would help a business structure themselves. If you want to look at tax consequences of that structure, then I have CPAs that we could talk to across the country. Okay.
Yeah, because it takes a team to run a business.
It takes a team.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
And well, great. So this is a very interesting question from what do you say, geology?
Yes, I'm a
To
geologist.
financial services. I mean, that is a big spread of not even close.
It was a big right turn. Fortunately for me, I'm a fairly quick study. I can pick up on things pretty quickly. And the unique thing is when you have a team of people behind you, you don't have to know everything. You just need to know how to address the problem and line up the right types of colleagues that can solve that problem. And I'm a very good organizer from that point of view. I could put together a good team of people.
Yeah, I think that's important. And like I know, being a small business person, we're focusing on how do we keep our doors open.
Right.
And we have all these other moving parts, and we'll get to it. And usually, it's situation dictates when you get to it, right? That's not the best place to handle a crisis after it's occurred. So, so we covered the importance of life insurance, key man, buy-sell agreements, those type of things, how they use those for long-term strategies for retirement or those type of things. Key man, and I guess that would be a great key man retention tool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For sure.
Cost reduction services and cutting cost in their credit card processing. I'm sure I talked to. This is interesting how things come up. Yesterday, my wife and I we ride our bicycles, and we needed new helmets, so we go to a bike shop yesterday, and so we picked out our helmets and went through all the stuff. The gal checking us out. She says, "Is this going to be cash, credit card, or check?" Right? Asked that. I said, "It's going to be cash." She goes, "Thank you." She says, because just our credit card processing for this small bike shop is over 50 grand a year.
Yeah.
Just banking fees, just to process. So if you can cut that 10, that's a lot of money. I mean, if you can cut that cost. So people don't realize how costly those services are. It takes away from the bottom line.
Yeah. You know, in the business owner cost savings approaches that I mentioned, the cost segregation, the R&D tax credits, the hiring incentives, the audits that we do on the credit card, work comp insurance carrier, property tax records, waste and recycling vendor, and shipping merchant. You know, we bundle all that into one-stop shop. So when we talk to a business owner, we're not just looking at selling, for example. Selling is not the right word. But we're not consulting with them on doing a cost segregation study, accelerating the depreciation of their building. We'll look at everything because we want to maximize what we can do for a particular client. So if there's something that we do that can help reduce the business owner's cost, you know, we'll talk about it. It's always up to the business owner to decide whether or not they want to move forward with any particular approach. But that will all be quantified. You know, we'll start with a preliminary benefit, and then because we're looking at just numbers off the top of their head, then we'll get into more detailed discussions where we would invite. And I always like to invite the CPA of the company or their accountant or whoever's preparing their taxes, so because they have to be involved in the process. Because at the end of the day, if we move forward, they'll be the ones doing the filing. They'll be the ones sending our report to the merchant that they have where they want to reclaim errors and overcharges in the system so that they could have a refund. So we try to work with the business owner focused on maximizing that benefit that we could provide for them.
Yeah, I think what you just said there is so important, that everybody that's in that team, what you provide, that their accountant or their tax preparer, their lawyer, their legal part, everybody's in congruent understanding of what's going on. Is that, yeah?
Everyone has to be on the same page.
Yeah.
No, that's something I want to point out. It's true for all the things that we do in the domain of business owner cost savings. Small and medium-sized business owners are just not aware of the opportunities that are out there on cost savings, because that's not their focus. They're focused on running their business, as you said, making money. No, they're not thinking about saving money. That's where we come in. And we try to lay it all out in very simple terms. And once we provide your detailed information, and when I say detailed information, we're not looking at tax returns. I don't need your social security number. I'll just need no backup. For example, if you're doing a cost segregation, you like to do a cost segregation of a building that you purchased in the last 20 years. I just need the depreciation schedule. That might be sufficient for us to qualify you for that tax credit.
Okay. So when somebody starts the process, number one, they can reach you. I've got your LinkedIn link that's scrolling across the bottom here. We've got your email. They can reach out to you, any of those forces to contact. So so it's a free consultation?
Yeah, all my consultations are free.
Okay.
And on the business owner cost savings, there's no cost until the cost savings is realized. On the line of credit, there's no upfront cost. We'll have a consultation. We'll go through the entire process, walk you through the process, and once you commit, there'll be a cost to generate the documents, the legal documents that are required, and then you'll have your loan. On the deferred capital gains, again, there's no cost up front. And I try to find things that minimize the outlay by the business owner so that they can get the maximum return and they don't have to pay me to come up with something. I'll come up with something and then you decide whether or not you want to pursue it.
Wonderful. As any small business, that time is their most valuable asset. And so if they were to sit down with you, you meet with them over a series of short interviews or short time. So from start to finish, how much time would a small business owner, I'm sure there's complexities to it, but typically in a time resource, what is it from start to finish would they spend to get the analysis done and that with you?
Yeah. No, we could generate a preliminary cost benefit in 20 minutes or 30 minutes max.
Okay.
What usually takes time is for the business owner or his or her team to provide the data that we require. As I mentioned, if we're doing cost segregation, we'll need depreciation schedules. So getting that data is where the time is. But I would argue that it's time very well spent because you already know what that end result will be. So, and I'll just throw out a number to give an indication on the cost segregation. The general lowball rule of thumb is receive $75,000 in cost savings for every $1 million you spent in either purchasing, constructing, or rehabilitating that building that you've had for the last 20 years. So it's a pretty substantial cost savings that you can generate. And what's interesting about cost segregation is the tax deduction, where the R&D tax credits and the hiring incentives are tax credits. So the deduction, you could take it off right off the top.
Wow. I tell you what, small businesses need to know about your service. That's why I had you on, so we can get that message out to my network of small businesses. Of course, anybody that's out here, we want you to tag and share this information with other colleagues and businesses. And I just encourage anybody that's out there to reach out to Joe and do that initial consultation, see where benefits might lie for you. The only risk you have is not taking a step forward, right?
But the biggest risk is not taking that step.
Yeah. It's a win-win-win. And that's the best situation for everybody in any business situation. Mm-hmm. So when I would like to go back to some, you say geologist. Is that correct? Geologist?
Yeah, geologist.
Tell me what a geologist does. I'm really curious.
Well, a geologist studies the subsurface and they addressed whatever the geological objective is. For example, in my case, one of my areas of expertise is geothermal energy. So I would work for a firm to look for areas on the planet that have the potential for geothermal energy. And in my case, I was fortunate enough to work on volcanoes for 25 years, as well as other geological terrain. But it was pretty exciting work.
And that's all outdoors and environments and climbing mountains.
Climbing mountains, staying out of the way of lava flows.
Okay.
I worked on the big island of Hawaii for about 9 years. And I had to stay out of the way of a lava flow.
It's interesting. That field and study is so far removed from what you're doing today. But I love the fact that you made that decision for a purpose and a why. Yeah. You experienced it. You saw what was happening to other people, and you decided to go make a difference. Yeah. And so, how long have you been in this? Since 2008, did you say, or 2004?
No, I've been doing the business owner cost savings, the business consulting since 2014.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I've been a geologist since 1970, a professional geologist since 1977.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I always like to know the backstory because a lot of people out there may be looking for career changes. Many times I'm a geologist. What can I, so life experiences many times dictates maybe I want to work in this area because they've had an experience, want to make a difference in somebody else's life. And I'm an entrepreneur. I'm basically psychologically unemployed. Since '83, I've been in business for myself. I was in corporate world, in contract negotiations in the grocery industry in California for years. Mm-hmm. And I recognized that didn't fit my core values, the politics and some of the craziness that goes behind closed doors in business, between labor and business. It's not what we think many cases. So it wasn't for me. And I left that and went into business financial service for the same reason. I was getting tattooed. I wasn't getting the benefits that I told I was going to get. And because I was uninformed. Yeah. If I'd have been informed, that's what it's about. Yeah. And small business people, individuals. Do you do any individual stuff or just strictly all business related?
It's over 95% all business related.
Okay.
On the life insurance side, I will do life insurance with family and friends, referrals from them, but I don't market life insurance myself.
Okay. All right. Well, Joe, in business, we all experience challenges. What would be the advice, because you've been in business long enough that you have a track record of success, because most business don't make it as long as you have, unfortunately. So you're in the path of success. What are the things that you lean into to give you the motivation? Do you have any personal coaches, or do you? How do you frame your support around you? Who do you look for? What do you recommend?
I have some very good friends that I could talk to. I also, my own personality, I'm a project-oriented individual. Tell me where the goal line is, and I'll help you get there. I'll lay out a path to get there. And I've always been that way. So I focus in on my background, my scientific training, because I tackle all problems in a scientific manner. It's just my DNA. That's the way I think about things. And I reach out to folks that could help. If there's a problem that comes up that is not in my area, I'll reach out to an expert, tell them about the problem, present it to my client or potential client, and say, here's someone that you could talk to solve this, at least learn more about this particular area that you have an issue with. And I encourage them to give them a call if they would like me to participate like we do today, and bridge that gap between in that first call. I'd be glad to do that, because my goal is to help my client, help individuals in our community. I'm not the type of person that would say, "Oh yeah, let's call this person and call me when you've talked to them." I'll help you through the process. I'll do whatever it takes to help you get whatever done that you need to get done.
Okay. I think what you said there is so important is no matter who's out there, don't be afraid to reach out to people that may have answers and solutions to an issue or problem, even though you may not think it's relative. But I think that's important advice. Don't be afraid to ask, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't stop asking until you get the answer.
That's
it may
right.
not be the answer you like, but at least you got the answer.
Right.
You're being informed.
Well, Joe, I'm really excited for you, what you do. I see the need, with my business experience, the need for what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I know small business people are strapped for keeping the doors open, doing what they do best. Time gets eaten away. They have every intention maybe to find solutions to problems, but they never get to it. And people like yourself or provide those type of service, reach out to Joe and see where it goes is the best way I can say. So
yeah, you'll never know where it goes unless you open up that door, step through it.
Okay. In closing, recap the levels of service you do so people get a real clear picture of some specifics again.
I have 4 pillars in my business. The first is business owner cost savings that we talked about at some length. I also have access to private equity where we offer a multiple line of credit, currently at 3.5%. I also do some wealth preservation work that involves deferring capital gains tax at the time of the sale for highly appreciated assets. And the 4th pillar is life insurance.
Yeah, for your buy-sell, key man insurance, part of a retirement platform as well, it sounds like.
Well, if you just like have a second opinion on a personal life insurance policy, you can give me contact me, and we'll talk about it.
Oh, sure. You should have those things reviewed.
Yeah.
Things change, tax laws change. We need to stay current with that. So great advice. Well, Joe, it's been a pleasure. I'm glad we have met through our networking. I'm here to support anybody that's an entrepreneur at heart, wanting to make a difference in people's lives or their businesses. And I'm all about helping, supporting the entrepreneur. So I appreciate you being here today, sharing what you're doing. Again, I'm going to turn up Joe's LinkedIn is scrolling across the bottom and your email's there. So tag and share, reach out to Joe, and we're going to wrap it up. Anything else, Joe?
Well, I just want to thank you, Tom, for inviting me to talk to you and your audience. And we're here to help. And don't hesitate to call or contact me.
Right. Well, Joe, I'm going to put you in the back room and enjoy those M&Ms that we negotiated in the green room. So hold tight, and I'll just wrap her up here.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So one of the things we do is just for small businesses is take a look at your bottom line, see where you can save money, protect your assets. Is so important. So Joe will bring a great amount of value to you. I just encourage you to reach out to him. Mark couldn't be here today. He had other commitments, and we will be back next Monday evening with another platform, another interview, which will be announced later in the week. But elevate your profits, everything from the mindset to your bank account, the resources you need to succeed long-term in business is our objective. So with that all said, we're going to close out and we'll catch you on next week's Elevate Your Profit.